Hello everyone. This is a video that's long overdue. This is the October monthly lottery reading, coming a little bit late, so I apologize about that. But I hope that you're going to enjoy it anyway. Again, thank you to everyone who has decided to support me and my work by either booking a reading or joining this lottery. If you're interested in either option, you can find the details in the description. So this lottery is something that happens every month when I randomly pick a name from this bowl and that person receives a tarot reading. And this month's tarot reading in the Halloween holiday spirit is going to be about fear. So we're going to talk about the topic of fear and see what we can do to live life fearlessly. And this reading is dedicated to Hannah. Congratulations, Hannah. This is a reading for you. We're going to look into your fears and we're going to try and resolve them. To everybody else, if you want to, you can stay with us and see if you can take something away from this reading. All right, Hannah. So let's delve into it. I'm going to be using the Osho Zen Tarot. I'm going to give the cards a little bit of a shuffle. And while I'm doing this, I would like to ask you to think about a specific fear that you have. Something that makes you afraid in life. And we are going to work with that in this reading. Everybody else who is still with us, I encourage you to do the same and see if the message resonates with you, even though the reading is for Hannah. So this is going to be about her energy, her situation, but maybe there are some commonalities between you. We'll see. All right. So I'm going to spread the cards like this. And let's see. What is the subconscious background of this fear? So we're going to go straight to the root of the fear with the first card. Right? Now, let's see how the fear manifests in your life, how it holds you back, what it does to you on a conscious level. Okay. And let's find out what you can do to challenge this fear, what it is that you need to do, what sort of self-limitations do you need to overcome in order to make progress with this fear. And another one, because, treating or handling any sort of difficulty in life is a process that involves two components. There's a component of taking a risk and pushing your own boundaries. And there's another component of ameliorating and soothing the pain and the anxiety that surrounds it. So you need to apply both of those components when you're struggling with something. You need to find those points, those situations, those aspects of the problem where you can push yourself, and you need to also find a way to be gentle about it. So that's going to be our second card. How can you soothe yourself in this situation, in the face of this fear? Okay. So we are going to move forward with these cards. If necessary, we're going to draw some more cards. But for now, let's see what these ones are revealing to us. So we have the Three of Cups as the subconscious fear. No thingness or nothingness, the Hierophant, as the conscious blockages that it generates. And let's see what is something that you can try to push yourself to challenge the situation. And we have the Three of Pentacles. It's interesting that we have 3 and 3. 3 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. Okay. And what is something that you can do to ameliorate, to soothe yourself during this process? And here we have number 21 of the Major Arcana, completion, which is the World. So we have 2 Major Arcana cards, the Hierophant and the World, and we have these 2 Minor Arcana cards with the number 3, Cups and Pentacles, water and earth energy. So let's delve into it. What is the subconscious base of this fear? And here we have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is about having emotional connections, having emotional support from friends, acquaintances, family, co-workers, etc. So people around you. It's the card of social acceptance, the card of harmonizing and resonating with others. So at the base of this fear, there is a desire to fit in, a desire to resonate with others, to synchronize your energies with others, because if you don't, and this is where the fear begins, a lack of acceptance, a lack of being on the same frequency, the same wavelength with others, it's a very threatening reality or perspective that the fear is built upon. And so fears and desires are often found in the same place. So the subconscious desire that this fear is complementing is actually the desire to share your reality with others, which and to be emotionally harmonized with others, to have that feeling of not being alone, being belonging, being a part of something, which to a certain extent is a very natural human desire. But when it goes over to the territory of fear, the fear of losing that sense of belonging, the fear of losing that support, that connection, that's where problems start to begin. And also with this strong desire to belong comes the dangers of conformity and codependence, where you're giving yourself up and perhaps your values and your essence in order to have that sense of belonging. It's the desire to mold yourself in a way that allows you to remain in this circuit of emotional interchanges. And when this happens at almost any cost, at the cost of your individuality and of your values, that's where problems begin. That's where the fear comes in. Okay, so how does this fear actually sabotage you on a conscious level? And here we have the Hierophant, which is probably the most interesting card of the Osho Zen Tarot. It's a very unique interpretation of the Hierophant, the divine teacher, because here we have nothingness, a vacuum, a very strict and rigid sense of darkness, an unforgiving darkness, that if we revert back to the original interpretation of the Hierophant, who is entirely devoted to hierarchies and knowing your place, being humble, keep your head down, and try to fit into the structures that exist outside of you, independently of you. The Hierophant is a big promoter of respecting and obeying the wisdom of people who have come before you. And a certain dose of that is obviously very useful, but when it starts to dominate your interactions, this feeling of not trusting yourself and wanting to seek approval from authority and getting lost in these hierarchical systems, losing your independent will, losing your autonomy because you feel like you don't deserve or you are not competent enough to make your own decisions. I think the Hierophant here is a reliance on the wisdom of other people and the wisdom of institutions or other structures to the degree where it starts to interfere with your ability to govern yourself. It becomes sort of like a prison where your freedom is limited and your individuality is curbed to the point that it becomes very claustrophobic, very suffocating. So how do we challenge this? How do you build a better future out of this? So let's see what you can do in order to push your limitations. And we have the Three of Pentacles here, which interestingly is another card of community and being a social being, but it is from an entirely different perspective. This one, the Three of Cups, is water-based. Your emotions rule your decisions here. But with Pentacles, it's all about pragmatic choices and recognizing that it is not your job, essentially, to make sure that everyone is resonating on the same emotional wavelength, and it is an impossibility in situations, which does not mean that you cannot cooperate. So this card, the Three of Pentacles, is drawing your attention to the importance of collaboration instead of co-occurring emotions. You could be having entirely conflicting and opposing emotions within a group, and yet still strive towards the same goal, because not every situation is personal. Not every situation is a matter of life and death on an emotional level. So people with this type of pattern have a dose of codependency where they feel responsible for other people's feelings and they want to mold their own feelings and sometimes their own values to fit to the criteria and the atmosphere of the group. But the Three of Pentacles is here to reinforce to you or give you permission to see that you don't have to be completely on the same page. You can have emotional conflict and work towards the same goal with other people. Obviously, that could be a very conflicting and very difficult to manage situation if you're a very sensitive person, someone who's empathetic and wants to experience that sense of belonging with other people. I feel like that is the dominating pattern here, wanting to feel that euphoria of shared emotional realities. The Three of Pentacles is saying that that's not always possible. You're going to have to work together with people who are emotionally very different from you, and perhaps even your opponents in certain ways. Perhaps you are perhaps you have contradicting emotions regarding a certain subject, which doesn't mean that the collaboration should end, and it also doesn't mean that you should mold your own feelings to fit the general consensus of the group or to conform to the feelings of this person. It is a difficult and tricky thing to do, but it's manageable. You don't have to feel the same way with other people in order to be able to do things that are mutually beneficial and that are converging towards the same goal. And it's not the end of the world if you don't have that warmth, that sort of that feeling of symmetry, emotional symmetry within a group. It's not a prerequisite for good work. So the Three of Pentacles, which is where you can push your boundaries, and this is most likely to be done in a professional setting, to try to accept the dissonance, the emotional dissonance that exists within your group, and to not try to force yourself to have different opinions and to veil or modify your feelings about a certain subject. You can stay true to yourself and yet at the same time be a good team player and work towards the same goal as other people within a circle of people. And how you can soothe your soul and your energies when this is happening. Number 21, the World. This is the card of the superiority of spiritual connection that exists on a deep level, on an archaic level between people. This is the undeniable unity of humans and of every living and non-living thing that exists. It's the perfect harmony that exists in the world without you having to do anything to achieve it. So basically, the World card is saying it is not your responsibility to make sure that there's balance, that there's harmony. It is not your responsibility to try to fit yourself into a group. The fitting is going to happen naturally, and you don't have to change yourself. You don't have to give up on who you are, on your identity, on your feelings in order to fit. This is something that is taken care of, and you don't have to worry about it. If it doesn't work, it's not going to work, but it's not going to work because you feel differently from other people. It's not going to work because you don't share the same goal. If you share the same goal, there's going to be a way to make it work. And this is not something that you have to consciously worry about. So this card is here to take some weight off of your shoulders. It's not your sole responsibility to create congruency within a group. It's going to happen if it's meant to happen, and you don't have to surrender yourself. You don't have to surrender your values. You don't have to abandon your boundaries. You can remain your own person, have your own feelings, express your own feelings respectfully, and still remain a part of this collaborative effort for something that is important to you. So Hannah, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that it was relevant to you. And I would like to say thank you to everybody else as well for watching this video, for staying with us. If you like this type of content, please press like, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and I hope to see you in our next video.